Mr. Kelly from the Conservatives for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Minister, on what year will budget be balanced?
Our budget will be a generational investment in the future of this country, and you're going to be happy, Mr. Kelly, because there'll be a lot for you to talk about to your people in Alberta.
But if you don't mind, Minister, would you answer my question? In what year will it be balanced?
And like I said, I've already responded to this question, but what you're going to see is generational investments to put this country on a path for
Minister,
the
you
strongest
may have,
economy in the G7.
Minister, you may have responded to the question, but you haven't answered it. So I'm asking you, since this is a parliamentary committee, if you would answer the question. In what year will the budget balance?
I've already answered that question. You can ask me as many times as you want, sir, but the answer is going to be very similar to what I've told you before. I've already answered that question, and we've been very clear that we're going to be balancing the operating budget by 28-29.
Okay. Minister, it's correct. You have been asked this question many times, including by me. You have responded many times. You have never answered it. You have just now said something about an operating budget. So I understand that you are distracting Canadians with accounting rule changes, but I'd like you to answer. I'll give you one more chance to answer my question. When will the budget be balanced?
I've heard you very well, and I think it's irresponsible for a member of parliament to suggest the question you've been asking. The deficit and the debt will be calculated and presented as it has always been in accordance with the accounting principle. So I would say Canadians are watching that, and they're watching you carefully. What we're saying, they understand it. I just did a press conference, and I trust you. Canadians understand that. They really understand that. They said the government will present a new lens so they have more transparency, more clarity. And you should talk to your colleagues at the provincial level. They really welcome what we're doing, sir. And that's what you've been asking me. So for the record, the Committee of Parliament has been asking the Minister of Finance to change the budget cycle. We're responding to the wish of Parliament.
Minister, you are refusing to answer the question, as you have refused to answer this question repeatedly. So I am left to conclude that the budget will never be balanced under this government. In fact, at the Operations Committee, when asked at the Operations Committee, the PBO said the path we're on currently isn't sustainable. And when he was asked what year the budget will be balanced, the PBO said, is that a trick question?
Well,
I mean, but it's not a trick question. It's a question that Canadians need answered by the Minister of Finance. Will you answer at this committee and tell Canadians what year you will balance the budget?
Let me just quote the previous parliamentary budget officer. It's not shocking to see deficit go up because the economy is slowing and we have NATO commitment. To me, it's sustainable. That's Kevin Page, sir, who has been a parliamentary budget officer for quite some time.
Yes, he did. He did great work.
Actually, what he said is the reflection. I so wish he would be at the G7 meetings with me, because he would say what colleagues are doing. We have the most stable fiscal position of the G7.
Okay, Minister,
we have
no,
the
you're not answering the
GDP,
question, so we'll try a different question, Minister.
You should at least tell Canadians as it is, sir. Those are facts.
Minister,
you can have your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts.
Indeed,
Minister,
it's a fact.
the facts are what they are, sir. We have a AAA credit rating like Germany.
The current budget deficit is projected to be your current budget deficit does not even include NATO commitments. If we are to include the C.D. Howe Institute, for example, stated that if we start to include your commitments that you've made publicly, that the deficit may be as high as $90 billion. Is that correct? Will it be over $90 billion if you keep some of your spending promises?
Are you suggesting that we should not meet our NATO commitments to defend the sovereignty of Canada?
No, I'm suggesting that you should answer a question.
Well, the answer is very clear. We're going to meet our NATO commitments. We're going to invest in the sovereignty of Canada. And Canadians have understand the world is changing, and we need to make these generational investments.
Mr. Minister, will come back to me for a minute. Here, the PBO said that if there is a trend from the government to increase the debt to GDP ratio, the PBO responded that it would be very disquieting. Can you not tell Canadians what's happening? Because we are very disquieted as well on this side. We are concerned. I can say that we have the most enviable position of the G7.
but argued Canada is fiscally in a pretty good place relative to other G7 countries. I'm just reading from an article. So what you're saying is that, excusez-moi, je dirais pas parce que je citais en...
Excuse me, because I read it in English, so I apologize. No, I understood. Thank you, sir. Minister, during the election campaign, your government bought votes a few days before the election by reimbursing the carbon tax that people hadn't paid in advance. I know it's not the case, but the PBO, Mr. Giroux, confirmed it. Your official, Mr. Coulombe, said it was being refunded before being paid. Are you going to continue to say that you did not pay out reimbursements for this carbon? No, I haven't misplaced my notes. I like the work you do, Mr. Garon. I like your questions. Is that your answer? You've heard the answer from the officials. It was a technical one. But I can tell you that Quebec has its a carbon tax system, which is different. And that comes from the Consolidated Revenue Fund, yes. Minister, in those provinces, the federal government sent out checks before the tax was even paid. Some millions, some $814 million. We've been told by Quebec officials. So how are you going to repay the $814 million to Quebec? Well, yes, it comes out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund, but the repairs for the Champlain Bridge in Montreal also comes out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Minister, all of these costs come out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund.
Really conscious of the Conservatives. I was in the Procedure and House Affairs Committee. I'm sorry, I meant to say interpreters. We heard about acoustic shock and the fact that our interpreters can't regulate the sound and they use their ears and voices, and I'm surprised that a Bloc member would talk over someone knowing how sensitive the interpreters' ears are, and we'd like to avoid injuries among that valuable resource.
Thank you, Mr. Turnbull. So,
point of order. I understand, Madam Chair. I understand what my colleague is saying. Yes, he's right. We have to be careful. But now we are in a committee to ask questions. The minister is almost presenting his budget beforehand. Please, Mr. Garon, Mr. Minister, all members of the committee, please bear the interpreters in mind when you speak. My question is a simple one. Simple, Minister. I know you appreciate that. The $814 million that are owed Quebec, is it in your budget? When you read your budget, will it be there? Madam Chair, apologies to the interpreters. We'll try to do better. They help us do our work here. Mr. Garon. Yes, that refund came from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. When are you going to repay Quebecers? That refund wasn't done for Quebec. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Minister.